Ezekiel Elliott's in the news right now. Has narrowed his teams down to 3 for the next team he would like to play for. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New York Jets. This is just me here. I think he's done. He's done as far as being like a productive, even 2-down running back. You bring Ezekiel Elliott in because you need like a goal line hammer. Like you need thunder to go along with lightning. And in this instance, the lightning better be like electro quality. Like better be Thor quality lightning. I guess Thor's the god of thunder though, right?
Right. That was tough. That was a tough one. Who's the god of lightning? Is it a different one? Well, like Zeus, there is not. Right?
Is he?
Yeah. Because he has the lightning bolt, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's like one of his things. Yeah.
So Zeus
in any event. Zeke to be Zeus. Yeah.
If you're a Cowboys fan, you should be on your hands and knees right now praying that the Eagles sign Ezekiel Elliott. He's finished. Now, knowing the Eagles, they're smart enough that they would bring Zeke in only inside the 5-yard line, and he would just score touchdowns, and that would be his only role. And they'd use Rashad Penny, we'll get to him. They use Boston Scott, who they re-signed also, and Kenny Gainwell to get them down to the goal line, and then Zeke would come in. Zeke's
Super Bowl
done.
MVP Kenny Gainwell? Super Bowl MVP Kenny Gainwell? Is that who it was?
Yeah. It was great.
That was funny.
Yeah, because if the Eagles won, it wouldn't have been Jalen Hurts. It would have been Kenny Gainwell. That would have won Super Bowl MVP. In any event, I think he's shot, but in fantasy, he could be useful going to the right spot potentially. Philly is a spot that he could potentially be useful in because they're smart. The Jets, why would he ever get the ball once Breece Hall comes back? Breece Hall is the best running back in the league. Cincinnati's a little interesting, but Mixon's not the best pass catching back, and Mixon was being subbed out in situations for Samaje Perine. So maybe Mixon gets cut in a salary cap thing for the Bengals, who just spent a ton of money in Orlando Brown. So still a lot to be figured out with Ezekiel Elliott. To me, the Jets sign Zeke, that's we're going full Eagles dream team vibes from the Vince Young days, Nnamdi Asomugha. I would not like that signing. I think Zeke is finished. He should just take his money and retire and go live on an island somewhere. He's had a great career. And by great career, I mean he's filthy, stinking rich. God bless him. Other moves thus far in free agency, Ken, that we have not yet gotten the opportunity to discuss. Let's stick with the Cowboys here. Trading for Brandon Cooks. And we don't have to talk salary cap implications. People wanted to turn this into they should have traded Amari Cooper last year. It doesn't matter for betting or for fantasy. For NFL conversations, it's interesting. For this, it's not. So Brandon Cooks joins the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is great for CeeDee Lamb. Also, Dalton Schultz signs with the Texans. Also great for CeeDee Lamb. Dallas's 2 wide receiver set on the outside is definitely going to be Gallup and Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks definitely helps this offense. And now CeeDee Lamb gets to play exclusively out of the slot, where he is going to be even better than he was last year. I think an absolute beast for the Cowboys. Also, if Dallas is going to have this renewed commitment to the run game, and it's going to be Mike McCarthy in the prehistoric offense, when Dallas goes play action, who do you think the ball is going to down the field? I guess it theoretically could be Michael Gallup, or it could be a receiver who's better than Michael Gallup. That receiver, of course, is Brandon Cooks. Now, Brandon Cooks did not have a great year last year at Houston. He also literally, not figuratively, literally quit on the team. Where he's you know what? I'm not going to show up for a couple weeks here because you guys didn't trade me. He literally missed a couple of games because he didn't want to play for the team. I'll give Brandon Cooks a free pass on this. I think he'll be happier in Dallas. I think Brandon Cooks is going to be not great for fantasy, could be useful, but I think what he does being imported to Dallas, I think it just makes CeeDee Lamb just a bigger monster than he's been the last couple of years in fantasy football. So Ezekiel Elliott's gone in Dallas. Dallas signs Ronald Jones, Rojo, away from the Kansas City Chiefs. People want to talk about Tony Pollard, Tony Pollard being the big winner of Ezekiel Elliott being gone. I agree with that. Tony Pollard's awesome. I think Malik Davis is going to be a great fantasy football, late round pick this year. Malik Davis showed last year. He's really good. Tony Pollard is coming off a big time injury, and Ronald Jones is bad. So maybe Dallas adds a running back in the draft. We'll see. That would complicate things, mostly for Pollard. That'd be almost a vote of no confidence in Pollard to a degree. I think Malik Davis has an opportunity to be in all seriousness, a league winner if things break right. And I guess that would mean Pollard gets hurt for the Cowboys. But I like Malik Davis a lot, at least in this portion of the NFL offseason calendar. Houston Texans signed Dalton Schultz, right? Schultz is going to be their primary tight end. He's really good. Their wide receiving core is absolutely brutal with Brandon Cooks gone. We don't know if John Mechie, last year's second-round pick, who's recovered from leukemia, We don't know his situation. Like, maybe he's going to be ready. Maybe he's not. I think this is kind of up in the air. But, like, Robert Woods is going to be the number 2. Robert Woods is insanely washed. Good career. He's finished. Nico Collins is like a fine, like, number 2, I guess, or like a number 3. He's miscast as a 1. The Texans, like, don't have a number 1 receiver. So, like, good luck, Bryce Young, or whoever like, the quarterback's going to be in Houston this year. And they can't get DeAndre Hopkins because DeAndre Hopkins probably wants to burn the city to the ground in the organization after they traded him once already. I think it's going to be tough sledding this year for the Texans passing offense, no matter who the rookie quarterback is going to end up being. The Buffalo Bills signing Damian Harris and Devin Singletary. Oh, by the way, signs with Houston. Another bad signing by the Texans. Here's like a bad, slow running back. Like they are. I think Nick Kostos might be brain dead.
Here's a bad, slow running back. What negative traits could I give that would be kind of like antithetical to what you would want from the position? Here's like a wide receiver with no hands.
Like he's not good. Like, no, sorry,
doesn't seem like it.
He's not. Yeah. And it's like the Texans just keep signing players that aren't good. So Buffalo replaces Devin Singletary with Damian Harris, which I kind of really like this move a lot. For the Buffalo Bills, now you have like a clear Thunder Lightning combination here with James Cook, last year's second-round pick, who's going to be a beast this year, who was coming on at the end of the season last year in the Bills offense, like especially in hurry-up situations, where I think Damian Harris will be your first and second down running back. James Cook comes in on third downs. Maybe he starts some series. Damian Harris is definitely going to be the goal line back. Now, what hurts Harris is Josh Allen's propensity to score like short yardage touchdowns as well. But I think Damian Harris is a lot more viable with Buffalo than he would have been in New England, where I think Ramondre Stevenson clearly took over that job and will be the number 1 running back this year for the New England Patriots. You bet Nick and Ken rolling through some of the moves here in NFL free agency. The Buffalo Bills wide receiving core, we criticized a lot coming down the stretch of last season. Like, is Gabe Davis like really like a Super Bowl winning number 2 wide receiver? I think there's a lot of questions there. Really like Khalil Shakir, last year's rookie, like mid-round pick. We took him a lot in the anytime touchdown market. Didn't come through that often, but like Khalil Shakir a lot. The Bills signed Trent Sherfield away from Miami. I like Trent Sherfield. And Trent Sherfield might be pretty good in this Bills offense. Buffalo also releasing Isaiah McKenzie, like paving the way here for Sherfield to like maybe be the team's like starting slot receiver. In the Buffalo high-octane passing offense, Trent Sherfield is a name that like fantasy owners like need to know, fantasy players need to know. Obviously, drafts are a long way away, but if you play Dynasty, I think Trent Sherfield is someone to keep your eye on. The Philadelphia Eagles signing Rashad Penny away from the Seattle Seahawks. Miles Sanders, they let him go. He signs a big deal, big comparatively at the running back position, with the Carolina Panthers. Frank Reich Panthers head coach saying that Miles Sanders profiles as a 3-down back, to which I say, good luck. I don't think Miles Sanders is that great. Do you? Like, you could be Ken, Tyler, who's an Eagles fan, you, the person watching and listening. Miles Sanders is good. Is he Christian McCaffrey? Like, they let Deontay Foreman go. Is Miles Sanders that good? Now, for fantasy purposes, if he's going to be a 3-down back, he's going to be really good, especially with the team that's definitely starting a rookie quarterback, going to lean on him quite a bit. So real life, don't really like it that much. Fantasy, Miles Sanders is going to be really viable. Now, let's see if Carolina adds a running back coming up in the draft. If they don't, Miles Sanders is going to be a fantasy beast this year and is going to be probably drafted higher than he should be. What the Eagles did, I thought was genius. Why pay Miles Sanders $6 million a year when you could pay Rashad Penny like literally like $1 million a year? So Rashad Penny is injury prone, former first-round pick of the Seahawks. Like, probably shouldn't have been a first-round pick. Like, no running back like really should be a first-round pick with like very few exceptions. When Penny has been on the field and he's healthy, he's awesome. Like a fantasy league winner if he could ever stay healthy. I love this roll of the dice by the Eagles. Yet another reason why I think it would be insane for them to bring Ezekiel Elliott in. You've got Boston Scott, who's really good. You've got Kenny Gainwell, who like was good in the Super Bowl. Like, everyone liked him to begin with, and then he was good in the Super Bowl. Like, we joked earlier about MVP, like it was a dumb bet. Also, like, the player is really good. And if Penny stays healthy behind this offensive line, maybe that's why the Eagles should sign Zeke. He could play center if Jason Kelsey gets hurt, after we saw him play center at the end of the divisional round game against the San Francisco 49ers. Like, I'm not saying like Penny's a lock to be great. He could get hurt in the first game. He could get hurt in training camp. I hope this doesn't happen, but he's been injury prone. If he stays healthy, someone tell me how he isn't a monster this year. Like, he's awesome. That offense is awesome. The quarterback's awesome. And the line's awesome. I think I love this signing by Howie Roseman, who continues to be just an awesome, awesome general manager in the NFL. A couple running backs changing teams. David Montgomery leaves the Bears to go to the Detroit Lions. Jamal Williams leaves the Lions and is insulted by the Lions contract offer, goes to the New Orleans Saints. The Chicago Bears replace David Montgomery with Deontay Foreman of the Carolina Panthers. If you can only have one of these players, it's easily David Montgomery. Now, DeAndre Swift might be like the best running back on the team. Also, the Lions show you, you don't need to see it. You've seen it already. If they liked DeAndre Swift that much, he would just play every down instead of splitting time with players that aren't as good as he is. They've told you already how they feel about DeAndre Swift. David Montgomery in this offense, which could be really good this year for the Lions, he's going to split time with Swift, obviously, and maybe Craig Reynolds or these other jabronis, Justin Jackson or whatever on the Lions. I think this is a really good landing spot for David Montgomery. Deontay Foreman, really good, first and second down back. What does this do with him and Khalil Herbert? I think Foreman's better than Herbert. Herbert, better chance to catch passes. Let's see if the Bears add a running back in the draft. That'll be more of the pass catcher. But this is a Bears offense that really wants to run the ball with Getsy and obviously a defensive head coach and Fields, a quarterback who's a plum at running the football, obviously. Where would it shock anyone if Deontay Foreman scored double-digit touchdowns this year? Wouldn't shock me at all. But we need a wait-and-see approach there. But I like this as of right now. If it's just Foreman and Herbert as the top two, and Deontay Foreman's going to have a really good year for the Bears, and they will improve their offensive line, you would think, as the offseason moves along. Jamal Williams signing with the Saints, to me, is problematic in a couple ways. Number one, it does not say good things about Alvin Kamara, who was already coming off the field at points last year down by the goal line. We're hearing rumblings that Taysom Hill's going to be even more involved in the Saints offense this year. And you have to think that means running the football, especially since they just signed Derek Carr to, throw the football. Also, Jamal Williams isn't that good. I get it. He's really entertaining. He's a great press conference. He's really funny. He scored a lot of touchdowns last year for the Lions. He's literally falling into the end zone from the 1 or 2 yard line. He's not a good running back. I don't like this for Kamara. I don't like it for Jamal Williams fantasy-wise. I also don't like this for the New Orleans Saints. This doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence for the Saints. Now, they play in a bad division. We'll probably win the division just because the division's bad, but I don't really like this signing, at least on the surface. There's a bunch of fantasy football takes for you. We'll give you more as the NFL offseason goes along.
That was good work.
There you go.
I feel like I learned
Thanks,
a lot there because I'm not paying attention at all.